ओम सर्गस्थिति प्रलय हेतुमचिन्त्य शक्तिं विश्वेश्वरं विदित विश्वमनंत मूर्तिं निर्मुक्त बंधनमपार सुखाम्बुराशिं श्रीवल्लभं विमलबोधघनं नमामि। यस्य प्रसादात् अहमेव विष्णुर्मय्येव सर्वं परिकल्पितं च इत्थं विजानामि सदात्मरूपं तस्याङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यं। We are studying here Shankaracharya's Vakya Vritti, and we have gone up to Shloka 39. But for the sake of connection, we go back a little and come to 37. तत्त्वं पदार्थो निर्णीतौ वाक्यार्थाश्चिन्त्यते अधुना तादात्म्यमत्र वाक्यार्थात् तयोरेव पदार्थयो. Having ascertained the meaning of the word tat and of the word tvam, now we can understand, now we can think of the identity between in the two meanings of the two words. The meaning of tat and tvam, now we can think in the sentence Tattvamasi, we can think of the identity of tat and tvam as represented by the third word asi, that thou art. So that and thou have the identical meaning. Now we can think of that once we have clarified clearly ascertained the real meaning of the word tat and real meaning of the word tvam. As we have been telling again and again, indicated meaning, the meaning in the mind of the speaker, that we have found out now. And so we can now think of the identity. And when we think of the identity, we have to eliminate that which is not there. So, sansargo va vishishto va vakyartho natra sammata. Akhandaik rasatvena vakyartho vidusham mata. Sansarga means two things touching together. That is not identity. That day we saw the example, blue lotus. Now the blue is a color, lotus is a thing, substance. And they are together. Blue is not identical with lotus. Lotus is not identical with blue. There are so many blue things, so many lotus have different colors. So this is called sansarga. So this type of meaning is not allowed. Visheshta. We have seen that God has an Atman and God has a body, and we are parts of that God body. So we are one, but with some speciality is there. That is called Visheshta. I am one with God, not identical. Huh? I am one with God. How? Like the branch of a tree. So this is called Visheshta, and this also is not what the rishis mean. Natra Sammata. What should be the meaning? It should be unbroken identity. The meaning should be unbroken consciousness. Meaning should be unbroken existence. Meaning should be unbroken bliss. Akhanda, that is called the meaning akhanda. Not that I am a part of Brahman, that breaks Brahman. Not that I am sitting with Brahman, that also is a break. So, unbroken existence, consciousness, bliss, he says, Ekarasatva. Rasa is the source of joy. Ekarasam is homogeneous. So there not be some special things in between. It should be homogeneous. It cannot have, as I said, part where part or so many things. Nothing is allowed in the real meaning of the word identity. So, Vidusham Mata, the knowers of Brahman tell us that this Sansarga or Vishishta cannot be allowed. That cannot be the meaning of the sentence. Akhanda Ekarasatvena only, the meaning should, such meaning should come, which is unbroken and bliss absolute. So what will happen? Pratyak bodhoya abhati, so advayananda lakshana, advayananda rupasya pratyak bodhaika lakshana. Pratyak means inside. Bodha is consciousness, our innermost consciousness. We are searching individual's innermost consciousness. But when we say innermost, I, body, mind, I consciousness, they are all outside. We have not gone really inside. Really, when we go inside everything, inside the Panchakosha, inside totally, then I or mind will not chase us. I and mind will get dropped somewhere. Then only you really got inside. So, what appears as, what shines as, the innermost consciousness is nothing but Advayananda Lakshana, non-dual bliss. One akhanda ekarasa bliss. That is what we will find when we go sufficiently deep to find my real consciousness. I will find that it is of the nature of non-dual bliss. And when I am searching for non-dual bliss, then I will find that it is my innermost consciousness. So whether we start from that God and we really find the nature of God, we will find that He is inside me. And when we try to find the real nature of I, we will find it is God only. So that will happen when the meanings of the word Tat and Tam have been properly understood, properly ascertained. Then this will happen that the innermost reality will be seen as Advaya Ananda, non-dual bliss. And when we search for the non-dual bliss, what is that? I will tell you some other words. What is the reality of the world? We will find that is my reality. What is my reality? We will find it is the reality of the world. So the reality is described here in one side consciousness, the other side non-dual and bliss. So this comes to that. Now we proceed. 40. इत्थम अन्योन्य तादात्म्य प्रतिपत्तिर यदा भवेत् अब्रह्मत्वं त्वमर्थस्य व्यावर्तेत तदैव हि. So इत्थम, in this way, when we will find pratipatti means knowledge, pratipatti means experience, pratipatti means realization, pratipatti means obtaining that. All these meanings are in the word pratipatti. That knowledge which makes us achieve that. We have achieved that. That is called pratipatti. We have known that. We have realized that. That is pratipatti. So when the identity between the innermost consciousness and universal consciousness will come, then the in the word Tvam, an individual is appearing to us. But when the identity will be felt, then this anything in me which is not Brahman, my body is not Brahman, my mind is not Brahman, all this will vanish. Really, it will vanish. That means two ways. Huh? We are struggling to find the identity. When thou and thou are purified, real meaning comes, identity will come. But when the identity finally comes, the real meaning will come. When the identity comes, then anything in me which is not of the nature of Brahman will vanish and we'll get only Brahman in place of me. Tadeva hi vyavarteta, it will go away only when the identity between thou and that is found, then some meaning individual, that individual meaning will go away. Tadarthasya cha paroksham yaddeva kim tata shruno purnanandaika rupena pratyak bodho vatishtate. And that when we say na, it becomes indirect. That means distant. But when the real meaning, the identity is found out, that will not be distant. That will be my own self. So, tadarthasya cha paroksham. Paroksham means indirectness. That will go away. And we'll find that, as Swamiji told, God nearer to me. So we'll find that the Brahman or Atman or reality is myself. That we'll find. So the remoteness will go away. Paroksha means remoteness. Remoteness will go away when we find the identity. Now, the next two words appear to be Shishya's question. We found that this is a conversation between Guru and Shishya. And when Guru tells this Shishya, Kim Tat, then what happens? What is the use of that? What happens then? Suppose the identity is revealed and suppose the uh, non-universality of I has gone away, suppose the remoteness of Brahman has gone away, then what happens? Shrunu. Guru tells you, listen, I will tell you. Purnanandaika Rupena Pratyek Bodho Avatishtate. Our Pratyek Bodha, the innermost consciousness, will stand as infinite bliss. It will stand as only the infinite bliss. Purnananda Ekarupena. The only form, the only way in which we'll see ourselves is infinite bliss. Whole bliss, complete bliss. Whole is not a proper word. Purna means literally whole. Purna means infinite. So the infinite Ananda will be the, in that way, my own reality will stand as infinite bliss. Tattvamasyadi vakyam cha tadatmya pratipadane lakshau tattvam padarthau do upadaya pravartate. Now he is concentrating on the word asi. Asi represents identity, that thou art. Concentrating on that. Yes, please. Right, please. Okay. Now we are taking the full sentence Tattvam Asi. This sentence, when it wants to tell us the identity, it wants to postulate identity, then Lakshya. There are two words, Vachya and Lakshya. Though generally they are translated as direct and indirect, that is not the correct way. Literal and indicated. Literal and real. Literal and the actual. So, the actual meaning, the indicated meaning, the transcendent meaning, taking that as the material, upadaya. When identity is declared, it takes into account the indicated meaning of the word tat and tvam. Pravartate. That means it starts by accepting upadaya, accepting as material that the indicated meaning of tat and tvam is accepted, not the literal meaning. What is the meaning of this? I. When I say I, the literal meaning is body, mind, and all that. This cannot be identical with Brahman. And when I say that, some remote God governing me, that cannot be I. But when I understand that I am not this, not this, not this, I am only the consciousness, and when I understand that he is not remote, he is all pervading, including me, then only the identity will be established. This is why it is told, I told you, that we see in many places, Aham Brahmasmi. Are you are not Brahman, this is Brahm. This is a delusion in your mind that you are Brahman. You means your body, mind, and this is Brahman. This cannot be. So he is telling here that only the indicated meaning is accepted. Similarly, when we say Brahman is only reality, we do not understand, only we use the word Brahman. But the real meaning of the word Brahman has to be taken, real meaning of the word I should be taken, and then only the identity is told. हित्वा दौ शबलौ वाच्यौ वाक्यं वाक्यार्थबोधने यथा प्रवर्तते स्माभिः तथा व्याख्यातमादरात्. Adarat Vyakyatam. Adarat means with love. Adarat with means with respect. Adarat means very carefully. We have explained to you that the Shabalam means weak or impure. The two literal meanings are impure. Having rejected those two impure meanings, Vacho meaning, impure literal meaning to have been rejected, and then the Vakyartha Bodhan, the consciousness represented by the sentence, Vakyam Yatha Pravartate. Vakyam, the sentence proceeds by eliminating the impure literal meanings, then only the Bodha, which comes out of that sentence, the consciousness which is aroused by that sentence. How that arises, that we have explained carefully. We have explained carefully that having rejected the literal impure meanings, when the real meanings are taken, then this very sentence, it reveals to us the identity that we have explained. आलंबनतया भाति यो अस्मत् प्रत्यय शब्दयो अंतःकरण संभिन्न बोधा सत्वं पदादिभा. He is again explaining what we have explained. When we use the word tvam, the Shishya has to understand aham. Aham, the root of the word aham is asmat. Asmat is the root of the word I am. Now, when we utter the word I, inside that, what consciousness shines? Inside that, when we use the word I, asmat shabdayo pratyaya, what is the bodha? What is the consciousness shining inside the word I? That is the alamban. That is the substratum. That is the support. And it is antakarana sambindha bodha. In our heart, the bodha shines in our heart. This exercise is like this. You utter the word I and try to find out what consciousness has arisen in your heart. When we utter the word I, some consciousness arises in our heart. That is the meaning of the word Tvam. The meaning of the word Tvam is when the listener thinks of utter the word I, what consciousness arises in his heart. So this is the literal meaning. Literal meaning is as soon as we say I, what consciousness rises in our heart is my body, mind, indriyas, and everything. So this is the literal meaning. He is again explaining how the literal meaning is to be rejected, how the indicated meaning has to be accepted. Similarly, Mayopadi Jagad Yoni Sarvajnatwadi Lakshana Paroksha Shavala Satyad Satyadi Atma Satyadhyatmaka Tatpada Veda. Tatpada, when Tatpada is told, what it accounts for? That Ishvara, who has Maya as his Upadhi, who is all-knower. These are his characteristics. This is again the Shavala. Paroksha Shavala. That means remote and impure. Remote and impure, which is of the nature of existence, which is of the nature of existence, but remote and impure. Only Maya is its characteristics. This is what comes to our mind, literal meaning when we utter the word Tat. So, to explain that, the literal meaning has to be rejected, and then only we get the identity. He is again showing what is the literal meaning. Up till now, we explained the real meanings, but he says that literal important step, literal meaning has to be rejected. Then we get the real meaning. So, though he has explained the real meaning, and that is the basis for feeling the identity, he is now showing what is the real, what is the literal meaning which has to be rejected. So, when we say that Tvam, we mean I, and it is consciousness as related to our mind, consciousness as connected to our internal organ. That is what comes to us, and that is this I consciousness. And I consciousness is the literal meaning, but we don't have to take that. We have to reject the literal meaning, which is I consciousness. So I consciousness is described as that consciousness which arises in our heart. And when we say that or that, something remote, some God controlling this universe, something different from us, some remote, that comes as the impure in literal meaning. Then what should we do? प्रत्येक परोक्षतैकस्य सद्वितीयत्व पूर्णता विरुद्धेते यतस्तस्मात् लक्षणा संप्रवर्तते. Now the position of indicated meaning comes because pratyek inside, paroksha remote, ekasya sadvitiyatva apurna sadvitiyatva. So the two different things come in our mind. One comes inside, one comes remote, and they oppose each other. These two meanings cannot be identical. If I am this limited being, and if God is remote from me, that these two meanings differ from each other. So we have to use the indicated meaning. If we take the two literal meanings, they oppose each other. So the opposite part has to be dropped. So we have to take recourse to the indicated meaning. Lakshana sampravartate. We have to take up. Sampravartate means have to take up the indicated meaning. How, why? Manantara virodhetu mukhyarthasya parigrahe mukhyarthena vina bhute pratitir lakshana uchyate. What is this indicated meaning? Lakshana. When by different pramana, different means of knowledge, we find that opposite meanings are coming. So, the mukhyartha means the literal meaning. The main meaning, mukhya means apparent main meaning. If we take, then we find opposition between the two words. So, avinabhute. That means you don't have to give up the meaning entirely. But on the basis of that, we have to find some indicated meaning. When we use the word sentence, the literal meaning of say becomes self-contradictory. So On the basis of that, we have to find important point is that we don't have to give the meaning totally and imagine some other meaning. You know how Ramanuj interprets this Tattvamasi. He says, take the example, where is moon? Moon is on the tree. The moon cannot be on the tree. But when you look toward the tree, you will see the moon. But that much. I am pure, God is pure, that much is Tattvamasi. I am a part of God. So this becomes giving up the meaning. We don't have to give the meaning totally. On the basis of the literal meaning, we have to proceed and find an indicated meaning. So indicated meaning should not leave totally what is the meaning, but from the taking that as a base, we have to find out the indicated meaning. तत्त्वमस्यादि वाक्येषु लक्षण भागलक्षण सोयम इत्यादि वाक्यस्थ पदयोरिव नापरा, and this is called bhagalakshana. What is opposing, that much we drop. That means consciousness accepted. Tom means consciousness accepted. That is remote, rejected. Tom is limited, rejected. Tom is something associated with the body and mind, rejected. That is remote, governor of all, rejected. What is non-opposing? That means consciousness. That means absolute bliss. That means all-pervading. Tom means my reality. Tom means only consciousness. Tom means the innermost bliss. Tom means the real nature of I. They are not opposing. So we should drop only that part which is opposing and accept that part which is identical. This is called Bhaga Lakshana. Now, example, we see some boy long back, and again we have seen him. So you say, this is that Devadatta. This is that Devadatta. Now, this means the boy which we see now. That means the boy which we had seen before. Now, these two cannot be the same because he was a small boy, now he's a big boy. But when we mean the person, how do we take the meaning? We remove the past tense, we remove the present tense, and we see the person. So in this way, the meaning has to be taken. This is the same boy, this is that boy. When we say, then this and that oppose each other, but the boy is the same. So this is the example of Bhagalakshana. He will explain it still further. Soyam ityadi vakyastha padayoriva na para, not in any other way. Like the identity in the words used, this is the same boy. In that way, we have to find the meaning. Aham brahmeti vakyartha बोधो यावत् दृढ़ी भवेत् क्षमादि सहितस्तावत् अभ्यसेत् श्रवणादिकम्. This is an important statement. As I have been telling repeatedly, Vedanta is a science of experience, not only intellectual exercise. So he says that this will lead to Aham Brahmasmi both. But sometimes it comes and sometimes it goes away. So Shamadhi Sahitas Tavat Abhyasya Shravanadikam. Now this raises an important point. When we read the Vedantic literature, especially Adhikar, then a wrong idea comes that we should be perfect in Shama, Dhamma, Vivek, Vairagya, and then we should listen. That will never happen. So we are practicing Shama, Dhamma, etc. And side by side we are listening. That is the way. The way is that by listening the scriptures again and again, and side by side, trying to put it into practice, self-control and all the virtues which has already been described, then only the life becomes perfect. This conception Shankara has cleared it that it is not after that we have completed our perfection. No, that will never happen. But we are in that line. We are trying to practice Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparati, Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhan, Shraddha. We have Vivek, Vairagya, we have Mumuksha. This we are practicing. And side by side, we are listening to Vedanta. Vedanta will illumine us and practice will make us perfect. So these two have to be practiced together. Very important idea. Shravanadikam. Shravana, Manana, Nididhasana is called Shravanadikam. Listening, making it take a grasp in our mind, meditating. This is one side of life. The other side is practice Samadhi side. So the practice of self-control and like that virtues, Vivek Vairagya and Shravan Manan Dhyasan should go together till the meaning of the Aham Brahmasmi becomes firmly rooted in our mind. When it becomes firmly rooted in our mind that I am nothing but Brahman, that is nothing but thou, thou is nothing but that, when it becomes firm in our heart, till then, both these two things should go hand in hand. How it becomes firm in our mind? Krutyacharya prasadena drudo bodho yada bhavet nirasta shesha sansara nidana purushastada. It is the grace. Shankara is using the word grace, please remember. Self-effort will never give us perfection. Shankara in one place has described in Brahma Sutra Bhashya that if the sadhana is done as I am doing the sadhana, it will become like a widow. It will become fruitless. So sadhana we have to do, but with the concept that it is God's grace I am able to do sadhana. It is God's grace that Guru, I met a Guru. It is God's grace that the consciousness is coming in me. Now he uses two words, Shruti Acharya Prasadena. Instead of God, he is telling grace of the scriptures, grace of my teacher. What happens? The Bodha becomes firm. My consciousness of Aham Brahmasmi becomes firm. And then, when this happens, then Nirasta Ashesha Sansara Nidana. Nidan means cause, Sansara means transmigratory existence, Ashesha means total, Nirasta means removed. So the cause of transmigratory existence totally becomes removed when the meaning of the Aham Brahmasmi both becomes firmly rooted in me by the grace of the scriptures, by the grace of the Guru. Purusha Sada. Purush is the person who is struggling. Here I have to remind again and again, Purusha does not distinguish a male person from a woman person, not at all. Purusha means one who attempts, one who struggles is called Purusha. So the struggler becomes free from the cause of the transmigratory existence when, by the grace of scriptures and teacher, the Bodha takes a firm root. When the Bodha becomes confirmed in our heart. Vishirya Karya Karano Bhuta Sushmair Ana. I hope I have not missed anything. No, proceeding rightly. Vishirna Karya Karano Bhuta Sushmair Anavrutaha Vimukta Karma Nigadaha Sadya Evo Vimuchyate. Karya Karana, body and Indriyas. Vishirna becomes dissolved in our consciousness. We do not feel I am the body, we do not feel I am the Indriyas. They become dissolved in my consciousness. And the subtle elements which make my mind and Indriyas and prana, and they are made of subtle elements. Anavruta. They are covering me, their covering is removed. I means my mind, my Indriyas, that has covered the real I. But when the identity becomes established, this covering is removed. And then what happens? These karmas and the karma phala, they are always associated with I. And when the I has vanished, this apparent I, then the nigada, the strong bondage of karma and karma phala also goes away. And that moment he becomes mukta. Sadhya eva vimuchyate. At that moment he becomes mukta. Now here I wanted to tell something. There are some people, let me take a name please. Okay, Madhusudan Saraswati. He calls himself follower of Shankaracharya and it differs on vital points. He says that so long as we are alive, some sort of ignorance remains. Only after death we will become free. Aham Brahmasmi, in his mind it is final. And here we are finding Aham Brahmasmi Dridikaran is some process. Aham Brahmasmi has to be perfected. And that very moment we are free. Jivan Mukti, Shankaracharya reiterates in hundreds of places. Madhusudana does not accept it. So there may be very big Shankarites, so-called, but here is the point, Sadhya Vimukti, you are free that moment. And if you are still living, okay, that is called Jivan Mukti. So it is not required that after you die you become Mukta. If you are not Mukta now, after death you cannot become Mukta. What will happen after death? The body is dropped, the mind is dropped. So here we have to remember the point, Sadhya eva vimuchyate. At that moment we become Mukta. If you are still existing, okay, that is called Jivan Mukti. Now he is describing that. Prarabdha karma vegena jivan mukto yada bhavet kinchit kalam anarabdha karma bandhasya sankshaye. So, Sadhya Mukti has come, but we are not dead because the momentum on the body is going on. Momentum on the body is going on. Swami Vivekananda has explained, others have explained, the potters in the olden days, there was no electric and all that. He used to, that wheel he used to move by his hand. Now it stops moving, but it goes on for some time, then it stops. So the free wheel in the cycle, we stop pedaling, but it moves for some time and then stops. So when the body came into existence, there was a wave of the prarabdha momentum. That continues in the body. Prarabdha karma vegena and jivan mukta kinchit kalam anarabdha karma bandhasya sankshaye. So for some time, the anarabdha, that work, the result of that work which has not started giving fruit, it is giving and it becomes exhausted, sankshay. Then he becomes kaivalya. Nirastatishayanandam Vaishnavam Paramam Padam. Important words he has brought here, very important point. So then Nirasta Sheshesha, that bliss which has no superior, negative expressing strongly the positive. And it's called Vaishnavam Paramam Padam. This you have to understand. We are not meaning Vaishnavism here. Vishnu means all-pervading God. Vishnu means the immanent reality. And Vaishnavam Paramam Padam is transcendent reality. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. In the Gita, Tad Dhama Paramam Mama. So the reality of the immanent reality is in his transcendence. God is all pervading. In his real nature, there is no word. So we are filled with this Aham Brahmasmi. When the vega, momentum of the Prarabdha karma is going on, when it is over, then Punaravrutti Rahitam, we are not going to come back. That is called Kaivalyam. So here three words have been used: Sadhya Mukti, Jivan Mukti, Kaivalyam. They are the three words. Jivan Mukti, Sadhya Mukti, it itself has become Mukta. But Jivan Mukti means continuation in life after that Sadhya Mukti. And Kaivalya means when there is no body or mind or anything, then that final resolution in Brahman happens. इति परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रीमद शंकराचार्य विरचिता वाक्य वृत्ति समाप्ता। सर्गस्थिति प्रलय हेतुमचिन्त्य शक्तिं विश्वेश्वरं विदित विश्वमनंत मूर्तिं निर्मुक्त बंधनमपार सुखाम्बुराशिं श्रीवल्लभं विमलबोधगणं नमामि। यस्य प्रसादात् अहमेव विष्णुर्मय्येव सर्वं परिकल्पितं च इत्थं विजानामि सदात्मरूपं तस्याङ्घ्रिपद्मं प्रणतोऽस्मि नित्यम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री रामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।